Hi everyone. So today we'll be discussing the problem B, that is min max cut from the latest global round 16 that happened yesterday night. So let's see what the problem says. So the problem says that you have been given a binary string which consists of characters 0 and 1. So as you know that in case of a binary string the characters present are only 0 and 1, and the max of the binary string is the smallest digit among 0, 1 and 2 that does not occur in the string. So I hope that you know about max. So what is max basically? Let's suppose that the array is let's suppose that you have been given three numbers 1, 3 and 2. Then what will happen is since you have been given 1, 3 and 2, so the smallest non-negative number that does not occur in these three numbers is 0. So the max will be 0. Let's suppose that you had been given 0, 1 and 3. Then in that case the max would have been 2, because 2 was the smallest non-negative number that did not exist among the given numbers. So in this way, if you have a string, if you have characters, and then let's say that your string particular string has characters zeros, particular certain number of zeros and certain numbers of ones, then for that string, that binary string, the max would be 2. And let's suppose that if the complete string is 0, if the all the characters are 0, then the max would be 1. Let's suppose that if it is a if it has ones, then if it has ones in it only, one, then what will be the max will be 0, right? Because 0 is the smallest non-negative number that does not exist in that given binary string. So next up what you can see is that this is the test case. So you have a string with zeros and ones, so the max will be 2, because zeros and ones are present and 2 is not present, right? And you have been given a binary string and you have to cut it into any number of substrings. You have to cut it in as many number of substrings as you want, and such that each character is exactly one substring, right? And it is possible to cut the string into single substrings, the whole string. Yeah, right, you can cut it into one string only, like the whole string. String A is a substring of B if A can be formed from B by deletion of several, possibly zero or all characters from the beginning of the string. So I assume that you must be knowing about the substring concept in the strings. So you have to find the minimal sum of the max, right? You have to divide into you can divide it into as many number of substrings as you want, and in this question you have to divide the binary substring such that the max, the sum of the max that for all the substring is as minimum as possible. So what you will be given, you will be given t test cases and you will be given the s, that is the string, binary string, and for that particular binary string you will be outprinting in the output section, you will print the max, right? So let's see this test case. So what happens is you have been given 0 and 1 as a string. So what will happen is you can divide it, since you have been given this case as 0 and 1. So first test case was 0 and then you have been given 1. So for consider this as a separate substring, then for this the max will be 1, right? For this the max will be 1. For this the max will be 0, because 0 is the smallest that is not present. So the total max would be 1, right? So total max comes out to be 1. Then another sample test case, this was our first test case. The second, let's see the second test case. So second test case, it was given that all all the binary string consisted of all ones. So what will happen is, consider this, you can consider this as a whole, and since 0 is the smallest number, that is the smallest non-negative number that is not present, so the answer, the max for that this question would be 0. And then let's consider one more string, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, right? So for this, what you can consider is, for this, what do you think the max would be? So the max would look like, consider this as a whole substring, and for this whole substring what is happening, it is consisting of zeros and ones. So the max will be 2. And let's take one more test case. So let's say the test case is 0, 1 and 0. So what will happen is, for this the max will be 0. Consider this as a substring, this character as a substring. Then the max for this one will be also be 0. Then for this one, what will happen is the max will be 1. So for this, this was the third case and this was the fourth test case. So for this, what will happen is the max will come out, total max will come out to be 1, right? So you can see that the max is either 1 or 0 or 2, right? So why the max is 2, and can you think that the max can be something greater than 2? No, the max cannot be greater than 2, since the binary string is consisting of only zeros and ones. So you will have maximum, you can go up till what? You can go up till 2 only. The maximum value of the max can be 2 only. So that will be the threshold. If your max comes out to be above that, then you will simply print 2, because you will consider that substring as a whole. And what you can see is, for this substring, let's suppose this is a substring. I'll draw it once more for you. So the substring is 0 1 1, and you have 3 times 0. So for this, you just see that if you have a chunk of characters such that, like what happens in this case is, you have ones together, you have zeros together, so consider them writing only once, right? So what will happen next is, like, this string would look like, now the new string would look like, if you write the consecutive characters that are same, you write them only once, then this would look like 0 1 and then again 0. So what is the special thing about this is that, for this, if you consider this as a particular substring, then the max would be 1 for this one, and for this the max would be 0, for this the max would be 1. So the max comes out to be 2. That this was the case earlier as well. And in case if our max came out to be more than 2, then we would have printed 2, since 2 was the maximum max that could be present. Like what happens is, consider this case where the all the values were given to be 1. Then what you do is, you see that this is a chunk of 1, consecutive 1, so you write it once only. And what will happen is, next up what will happen for this particular string is that you write it only once, and for this the max would be 0. So if you consider this whole substring, then even for this whole substring the max was 0. And if you can write all these consecutive characters that are same, you write them only once in the string, then what will happen is, for this the max would come out to be 0. So that you can see the max does not change for a particular consecutive characters. So what we'll be doing is, we will be using the unique STL function. I'll show you the code part for that. So what we'll do is, what you can simply do is, let me zoom it. So what you do is, you simply take the t test cases as input, you take the string as input, and you use unique function such that the approach to write the unique function is this, that you will be you will pass, in the first parameter you will pass s dot begin, then in the next you will pass s dot end, and then in the last parameter you will be passing s dot end as well. So what this unique function does is, if there is a consecutive characters that are same, then it is a pointer that such that if it starts from first till the end of the particular chunk that is same, so it helps us to write all those characters only once. And you will be using erase function for that, so that you can keep the string updated. Like if you have 1 several times, then you have a chunk of 0, then you have a chunk of 1, then what will happen is 101 will be the output. So because for doing this, we use the erase function. And if you want to know about the unique function, then there is this article on unique C++ STL. So what is this is, it helps us to remove duplicates of any number present consecutively in a range, and its task is to and it performs this task for all the subgroups, for all the chunks present in that range and having the same elements present consecutively. And the unique part for a special part of this function is that it does not delete all the duplicates elements. It just looks for the duplicate elements in a particular chunk. Like if some number of ones are present, then in a particular chunk, then it will only write one single time, and it does not update the string. So you will be using erase function for that. And in the end, what you will do is, you will iterate through this new string that you have found, that does not consist of duplicate characters in a chunk. And for the number of, if you find ones, then the max for those particular ones will be zeros. And if you find 0 characters, then for that the max will be 1. So you will increment your answer by 1. And in case if your answer is greater than 1, then in case if your answer comes out to be greater than 2, so you can consider that particular string as a single whole only, and you can consider that string to be a combination of zeros and ones only as a whole. So for that the max would come out to be 0. So this was the code. And in case if you have any doubts, then you can mention that in the comments. And if you, in case if you had any other approach, consider mentioning that approach in the comments, and I'll love to see your approach and discuss further on that. In case if you like the video, make sure to like the video and do consider subscribing this channel. Thank you.